Okay, so I finally got the solenoid, and we're gonna open it and test it, because it is a used one, but the guy I bought it from said that it is working just fine. So we're gonna hope for that. But I'm gonna test it anyway. Looks pretty good. The guy that I bought this from has used it on a older Volvo that has another type of start contact, so we don't need this cable anymore. Just gonna remove it. I also have to remove the bottom of the air cleaner so I can get the starter motor out, because it's pretty tight later on here. I don't know how well you can see this, but it actually looks great inside, so I ain't gonna do anything more than this. There is a lot left on the brushes, so no need to swap those out. So yep, let's test it and then put it on the tractor, see if it starts. A new copper seal here on the plug. This oil filter housing here was actually pretty nasty. A lot of old junk in, so we're gonna clean it up a little. That's better. Here we go. So that is a little bit high, but we're gonna fill up the filter as well, so I think that's gonna be perfect later. It says here that the valve should be adjusted when the engine is warmed up. So we're gonna give it a little run, warm the engine up, and then adjust the valves on it, see if it's good or not. But the engine is running smooth. I don't think it's so far away. Are you ready? Okay, so now the engine is fully warmed up, as it should be when adjusting the valves on it. So we're going to start with removing the valve cover and then see how it looks in there and adjust the valves. Looks good in here, I think. Lots of oil anywhere. This gasket here, I will reuse this because it wasn't available when I order the parts. So I think this will work just fine. It's in one piece and looks very good, so I don't think that will be a problem. And if it starts leaking later, I will change it then. So for the valve clearance, for the intake valves, it should be 0.4 millimeters. It's that one. And for the exhaust, it should be 0.45. So I have a 0.05 thin one there. I'm gonna add to this when adjust the exhaust. So let's go ahead. Here you have the exhaust valve and intake valve for cylinder 4. Intake valve, exhaust, exhaust, intake, intake, exhaust. So we're starting with the exhaust valve, so we should have 0.45. Well, there is some play, but we can't get 45 in. We can get 0.4 in, so we have to adjust that a little bit. Perfect, a little bit tight. So when adjusting valves like this, you can put the cylinder number 1 in top dead center, and then you can adjust, for example, the exhaust on the 4th cylinder and the intake on the 2nd and so on. But I have a cranking handle on this one, so I think it's easier to just make the intake down on cylinder 4, then I can adjust the exhaust, and then I turn the engine around, have the exhaust valve to open, then I can adjust the intake valve and so on. That's faster on a little engine like this when I have the cranking handle in the front, so that's how I did it. So I think I'm going to start the engine while the valve cover is off, because there is a little hole here in every arm, and oil should be pushing up here while the engine is running to lubricate all the parts here. So we're going to start it up and see that oil reaches every places. So now we're gonna set the ignition timing, and this engine doesn't have the disc on the front to read out the degrees. So I think that is behind this little rubber plug on the flywheel, so we're gonna remove it and see what's inside. So inside here you can see the flywheel. I can turn it with the screwdriver, and there you can see the little pin that's pointing here, and if I turn this, the degree numbers should show up. There we have 0, here we have 5, 10 and 15, and that's enough because this engine should be adjusted to 4 degrees. Before we mess with the rest of the timing adjustments, we're going to set points to 0.4 millimeters, because that's what it's gonna be. Because if we make the timing right and then adjust the points, we can change the timing a little bit, so it's better to do this to begin with. The breaker points actually looks very good. I think previous owner must have changed them for not so long ago. And it is a Bosch original, so no Chinese crap. So yeah, we're just gonna set the gap to 0.4 millimeters as it should be. And it is a little bit too little play here. I'm gonna adjust that. And important, in here, in the shaft, there is a little bit of fabric, and that piece should have a little drop of oil. Just like that, not too much. Because that helps lubricate inside parts here. It also has a little grease cup here that we're gonna fill up later. So this is how we're gonna set the timing. This is a inductive timing light, and you have to hook it up to 12 volts. We don't have 12 volts on this tractor because it's an old 6 volt system, but we're gonna find a battery or a battery charger or something to hook it up to. Okay, so my induction light doesn't work. I don't know if you can use a separate power source like this, or if it has to be the engine's power source. So I don't know, it doesn't work anyway, so we're gonna do the old-fashioned way with the spark plug and turning the engine very slow, exactly till the spark comes, and then read out the numbers on the flywheel. I hope you can see that, but it's pointing at around 12 degrees now, I think, so we're gonna adjust it a little bit so we get it on 4 instead. First of all, we're gonna undo this little bolt here that holds the distributor, like that. Then I'm gonna take this piece of oak and just knock it very little. I think that's enough. So we can check. So, turning the engine around again to see the spark, turning very, very slow. There we have it. I don't know if you can see it, but maybe you can hear it. I don't know, I will check later, but that's the spark. I'm turning very, very slow, so that should be very exact. So now you can see that the timing is at 5 degrees. We wanted it to be 4 degrees, but I don't think that will matter, because in the manual it said that if you're running it on 93 octane gasoline, it should be at 4 degrees, and if you run it on 98 octane, it should be 10 degrees. So I'm running this tractor at 95 octane gasoline, so 5 degrees will be more accurate, I think, than 4 in this case. So we're gonna leave it like that and see how it runs. Here on the side of the distributor you have a little grease cup, and this should be filled with grease and threaded in like every month or so. Just one revolution, so that grease presses into the bearings in the shaft and lubricates. And it doesn't take much, just a little bit of grease in there, and mount it back on. Sounds good, I think. Here you can see the main wiring harness at the engine, and this original should be taped with this red insulation tape. And this is original, but this is some tape missing, so I bought some red insulation tape today, so we're gonna fix this up. So the tractor is almost done. I'm gonna grease everything up, make sure that it's lubed up really well, and I'm gonna swap that work light in the back to another one, but I don't have any right now, so I'm gonna order a metal one that looks more like 1950s than this Chinese plastic one. Then I think the tractor is ready for some real work. So I hope at the end of this video you will subscribe to my channel right there. It's free, doesn't cost you anything, but it helps my channel out a lot. And please hit like for this video if you find it interesting, and please leave a comment down below what you think of it. And one new thing to the channel from this video on is that I have a new microphone and a new camera. So please comment down below what you think about the video quality and the audio quality, because I know you guys have been complaining most about the audio, but anyway. But I'm really happy how this tractor came out. Works great, runs good, everything works, and yeah, it's done. I'm gonna use it now. I know I promised you guys that I would put it in some real labor, but we don't really have any labor right now on the farm, so that has to be in the future. And I wanted to put this video out right now, so it didn't take too many days for a new video. I'm also gonna swap that headlight, work light, that thing here, to a metal one instead of this plastic. I don't like plastic at all. So that will be done. Also, I have to order one or buy me a used one. I'd rather do that, so I get a one that doesn't look new. Thanks for watching. I love you, and I see you next time. Don't forget to subscribe, hit a like and comment down below, and have a great day. Bye. And a new thing is that you can be a member of my channel now. I hope that in the end of this, so you guys have fun.